You said that, you know, you were living with your in-laws, but did you guys spend a lot of time together alone discussing issues that you were having?
No, I mean, we didn't, we did spend time with issues, but it was always a case of, well, it's your fault. And I think that that was a bit, that was wrong, because obviously there was no kind of, oh yes, okay, my family is in the wrong here, or I'm in the wrong here as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt, at least even if that was said to me, that yes, I do understand my family is in the wrong here, but, you know, don't worry about it, I'm on your side. I mean, that would have helped, even though he's not saying it in front of the family. So I
now,
think,
if you were married, if you were in the same situation you are now, but 50 years ago, you would most definitely have stayed in this marriage.
yes.
But however, times have changed, and women are more independent and they can leave. Do you think that today's British Asians, women and men, are just less tolerant? Do you think that might be why so many marriages are breaking up?
I do think that is the case, yes. People don't want to give and take. It's something has gone wrong and that's it, the marriage is over. Because divorcing is very easy nowadays, and, you know, people just take that route rather than trying to work on their marriage like our parents and grandparents did.
Do you think that you took the decision lightly, or was it something that you really did put a lot of thought into?
I did put a lot of thought into it, especially, as I say, because there was a child involved in there. That is actually the reason that decision came about. And I put a lot of thoughts thinking, well, it's not worked for this long. There is no chance it's going to work. Even after we've had a child and it's not working, then there is no hope really.
Well, you know, Asian mothers usually have this talk with their daughters when they're getting married, that you're leaving in a dolly, but if you come back, you're going to come back in a coffin.
That's right.
And just don't come back at all. Did your mother have that talk with you?
Yes, she did.
So how did she react when you called her and said, look, I'm getting divorced, it's not working?
I think after a while, because we had split so many times, it was kind of expected, and they felt, after they knew the whole story, they felt that maybe it was the right decision for all of us, with the fact how things had been going in the last year and how I'd been in and out of the house, living out of suitcase. I think they felt it was the right decision. So I would say I've got modern parents who think like that.
Right. Do you think you'll be able to find a modern man who won't think it's an issue that you were divorced before?
It can be difficult to find, I mean, a modern man, Asian man, who will think like that, and especially when you've got a child. I think that is the difficult bit, because men just think, well, I don't want to bring up somebody else's child. Yeah. And I have found that in my experience.
We're talking about Asian divorces and Asian divorcees. Is there still a stigma attached to being an Asian divorcee? You're watching Broken Silence. We're taking a short break, and we'll be right back. Hi, welcome back to Broken Silence. I'm Sanyya Gardez. Today we're talking about Asian divorcees, and joining me on the panel is Kuldeep Hira. Kuldeep, now you were on our show about arranged marriages, and we've invited you back because you're also a divorcee. Can you tell us a little bit about your personal experience with being a divorcee?
I was married for roughly around about 13 years, and previously your guest Reshma talked about her experiences, and I was married to somebody from Mumbai, and this individual actually lived in different parts of India.
Was it an arranged marriage?
It was, but we did have some time to get to know each other, but I would say I went more down the traditional route of getting married, yes. So we were married for 13 years. Initially there were some issues, but we tried to resolve them.
When you say issues, I mean, without going into too much details, what kind of issues did you notice right off the bat?
I think it was a lot of it because my ex-husband was the only son, and also...
These only sons?
Yes, he's an only son.
Was it interfering in-laws?
Partly, yes. Partly, issues around a family. And also, I think the cultural differences in terms of me being brought up in the UK, and also some of the issues that he experienced in terms of his own background and where he came from. So I think there was some East and West clashes in terms of my thought process and some of the things that he used to think about. So I think there were blocks and barriers there.
But you still ended up staying with him for 13 years.
I think we stayed together. We had some good times. We celebrate the good times, but also we look at some of the issues around, I have a challenging job, very career-minded, where he wasn't as career-minded as I was.
Do you think he felt threatened by the fact that you were a professional woman?
I think so. I think underneath it, he probably did, but never did he did he actually discuss those issues and said, oh well, Kuldeep, this is where you are, and you can see me thriving and developing. But I feel that that's through choice, because I've always inspired myself to grow and help and inspire others to develop themselves. But certainly I wasn't going to sit there and let a man or any member of the family trying to dictate to me about how I wish to pursue my career, the networks I wanted to pursue. But also there were issues because I had no child. I think that was an underlying issue. And also being the only son, it's about when's this daughter-in-law going to bring a child into our family. And in the midst of it, I think the latter 3-4 years, I had a catalogue of health issues as well. And I think those made the marriage a lot more challenging as well. So
what kind of reaction did you have from your own family when you decided that you were going to get divorced?
I had a lot of support from family and friends. I believe I come from quite a cosmopolitan family, so there's a lot of support in terms of, even now, I know Reshma talks about her experiences in terms of not being invited to weddings and functions. I get the contrary. I get invites, say, oh, bring Kuldeep along, come along, but then I sometimes take a more of a back seat and say, actually, I don't wish to come to that because some of the wounds sometimes open, and often you get members of the community who will have a good dig and they'll try and revisit times in your life. They actually called it what happened and talk about this, and it's something
How
you
long
don't
have
want
you been
to.
divorced for?
I'd say about just over a year.
Oh,
Over
so
a year.
it's pretty recent.
Yeah. But it is challenging, especially when you're all dealing with a community, sometimes who have very stereotypical views, particularly being an Asian woman filing for a divorce. And is it the done thing to do if you're a woman and you file for the divorce? Or is it a man's role to say, actually, I wish to divorce the lady? So...
You must not have taken the decision to leave your husband lightly. Was it something you were thinking about for years leading up to the point where you did get divorced, or was it something you kind of decided overnight?
It was something because I feel that I'd learned quite a lot about my husband's behaviour. I think because I was ill and I'd gone through a catalogue of health issues, I felt that I was clouded by what was really going on, because my own health was suffering. I also had his parents back and forth into the UK, so I was trying to support them, hold down a full-time job, and also trying to address some of the issues around, the ideas and attitudes people sometimes have from Mumbai or different parts of the country.
It was maybe a cultural clash?
Issues, yeah. But I also feel that the decision was one of the hardest decisions I took. I think to get married was one, and I thought also to get divorced was the other. So it was the biggest decision I think any woman or any male would make in life, really.
If you had to go back and do anything different, would you?
No.
You would have still married him?
I still would have married him. I think along the way, a lot of issues developed, and also I think we grew apart. And there were also a catalogue of issues in terms of family. His family was quite traditional in their approach, and also the East and West divide. I was very career-minded as well, and also I think... those issues, I think,
let me interrupt you for 1 second, because you mentioned that you were a career woman. Now there's going to be aunties and uncles watching this show and saying, aha, this is why it didn't work out, because she's a career woman. She didn't put her marriage first. What would you say to them?
I'd say I think it's all about choice at the end of the day. It's about choice. I felt I tried to juggle as much as I could, and also I was the main breadwinner within the marriage. So I think
that's not very conventional, is it?
No, not conventional at all. So, and also I think it was very much in terms of my ex-husband's family. A woman should have a certain role, be square box, and the work is between 9 to 5. Whereas I work across the city of Birmingham and also outside Birmingham, and I believe that you shouldn't be dictated. People in the UK work complex shift patterns. It's gone with the day when shops were closed on Sunday now.
Right.
People want 24-hour shopping. Sure. So it was very much, this is the done thing, this is the role of the daughter-in-law, this is how you should behave. And I felt that, I had challenges in terms of managing that.
Now, you are back on the single scene. How has that been for you?
I believe it's been an exciting experience for me. Obviously being divorced and then trying to shake yourself off and put patches on some of the wounds and go through counselling and trying to address some of the issues and also deal with some of the health issues I had. It's been an exciting experience for me. I got involved in Asian Single Solutions as a guest, and I started going to Asian Single Solutions events and some of the online networks that they